I guess, figure out which one which one is for me. Um, but yeah, it's just trying it out and seeing which one fits your preferences.
I'm going to back her up with that. It's true with anything. I know for me, within the field of user experience, there's so many different things, and you don't know what you want to do until you start doing things. Mm-hmm. I was adamantly against doing user research for the first bit, and then I'm like, you know what? Actually, this is my home. So it just takes practice and exploration in what you want to do.
Yeah, same deal. I was like, I only want to learn machine learning and everything like that. And then I got into the work and I'm like, actually, I don't think so. That's not for me.
Yeah.
More people are typing.
Fancy.
All right. There's a transcript? I did not know that. Huh. Huh. And people can feel free. Oh, okay. I thought that was a question. Okay. Does anybody want... I guess we can start going around and start talking about if anyone is doing a project, like what you're kind of working on, and any questions on that. Does anyone want to go first? Oh, okay, never mind, there's a question. Do we need to use specific software for the research paper format? No, you can just use whatever like Word document, Google Docs, anything like that. And you've reached over 900 words. Yep, that's still acceptable. That was just kind of like, it's not a hard cutoff. We just want to make it like not too long for all the judges to read, because then, you know, there's going to be a lot of submissions. So. Does anyone want to share their project idea or like what they've been working on?
Yes, please.
Show us. Yes, and you can even screen share. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. More people are typing. Mm-hmm. And feel free to unmute too if you just want to go, because then more people's questions can be answered as well. So.
And if people are nervous about sharing, you can, I think our contact information is shared as well, right? So you can just send us an email.
Yeah. One person, so my team's not active and I'm not the best person to program the entire thing, what to do. Donovan, do you want to like talk about your project idea, and then maybe we could like give some ideas on good ways to go through about it? Well, so do you want to share your idea, or? Okay, so there's no one to program. I guess it really comes down to like, what's your idea then, to depend on like what you're going to program. Wait, mentors, can you guys all access the chat and see?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
Yeah, it depends on the type of, like, I don't know how in-depth prototypes need to be for this, but there are some prototyping websites like Figma and Framer. I think Framer has it's a lot easier to use right away. So it'll help you create clickable prototypes for proof of concepts really fast.
Yeah. And those are also allowed to be used for submissions, so you can create that.
Just type them in there.
Yeah, you can screen share your research paper and talk about it, sure.
Okay, great. Just give me a sec. It's kind of long, so I'll just be like shortening it by tomorrow. Are you able to see my screen?
No. Not yet. You have to click the little share button at the top.
Oh, yeah.
And then choose your window.
Yeah, can you see it now?
Yes, it's loading. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay,
Great.
so this is my research paper, and it's just about air pollution in India and different cities in India. So here's my introduction, and then I have different graphs for everything, and this is just all of the research, and it's all secondary data. But yeah, so I have 4 cities, and yeah. So
Oh,
I'll
wow.
definitely be shortening it before tomorrow.
Wow, that's definitely really cool. What, I guess, like, why did you choose this topic? Like, why were you inspired?
Well, I think it was because I see air pollution a lot living in India, but also like I got the opportunity to conduct research in Lucknow, and that's when I got like really interested in air pollution. Like it was about air pollution. So I had a lot of secondary data available as well, and even data that I've collected. So I wanted to be able to use it. So I put it into a research paper.
That's cool. Great job. I can tell.
Make sure to cite yourself. That's a big thing. In academics, you have to cite yourself because you don't want to self-plagiarize, which is a real thing.
I didn't know that, so I'll make sure to cite myself.
Yeah. If it's prior research from a prior project, always cite that project.
So what aspect of air pollution are you talking about?
Well, I guess it's just kind of like an overview of everything. Yeah, but a lot about the health impact is very unique, and I've also like interviewed some really cool like scientists who have some really interesting but startling data that I was able to add in. So, yeah.
I mean, curation is such a big thing these days. Like with the internet, there's just so much data, so much research papers, so many of them available. So, like, I think a big, I know at least like in ML, like the review papers like get so much citation because they summarize everything. So reviews are also like very necessary in academia and then just doing good work.
Yeah.
Sorry, my parent is texting me. Okay.
Feel the same. My sister's messaging me.
Yeah. So, anyone want to share their projects else? It was great to see that research paper. We can see other types, things that you guys have been working on, what you guys have learned so far, questions, or you could just have some silent work time. The session is like kind of like up to you on how you want to use it, but I'd recommend, since the mentors are here, just like get the questions out of your way and then save the pain of like emailing, because being social is hard.
I have a question for the mentors. Like, what kind of tips would you give for the people who are currently doing the hackathon? Like, what should they keep a lookout for while programming? Do you guys have any ideas?
I
wanna
say
say-
if you're prototyping, make sure all the things that click to where you want it to click.
That is good advice. I was gonna say, make sure your resources are reliable. As Irfan said, there's so much information on the internet, and you want to make sure that you're getting the good stuff and not the the sites from like the 90s.
Yeah, use your libraries. Usually have access to databases. So whatever school you're at, sometimes there's databases that you can access. Always evaluate your sources. And one really good form of evaluation is we use the 5-year rule. So
yeah, especially with data. With data, it expires very quickly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a great point. I guess and I know a lot of people were having questions about like getting into coding, like how do I really get started and being a beginner. So I guess what do you guys recommend for people who really want to get into coding and don't know where to start?
I can answer that. I mean, I didn't know coding until 3 years ago, and I didn't know kind of machine learning until a year ago, and it's just been like absolutely amazing how like kind of just computer scientists in general try to make things intuitive. Like I think in CS, it's very common to the easier you make something, the more user you have, so the better they're getting returns. For me, it started with taking classes, and these days, like almost you don't have to be in a university or like in an in-person class to learn this stuff. Like internet has just so much resources. Just like following the exercises, like Coursera is one resource that, like the classes that I take at Stanford, let's say for machine learning, is like we literally take the online classes here. We just like have to do more work. It's the same videos that we have to watch. So just use internet as much as you can, and then maybe work on something that excites you. Like, because if something is exciting, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like you're sacrificing.
Codeacademy.com. That stuff is blessed. Going through the first starting with the simple exercises, and then you'll notice as you're doing them, you start getting ideas of things you want to build. And then just putting that time into it. Practice makes perfect, especially with coding. The more you practice, the better you'll get at it.
And I'm writing that down because I'm also a person who wants to do more coding. So what I've done is I've gotten a book, just computer science ground up. Sometimes my brain needs the simplest version first. And then I bought a robot. So when I'm done reading the book, I can build the robot. So it all depends on how your brain works and how learning affects you. But there's many different ways. It's just finding a way.
Definitely.
And I'm going to jump on Code Academy and Coursera now.
So
You'll also find that a lot of the theory behind languages, it's all the same for all languages. It's just the syntax that changes. So once you get a hang of, like I started using Java, which is not a beginner language, but I started using Java, and I started that in grade 11, and then all through university it was like a breeze because I already had a hang on the theory and how to build things, I guess.
so there's a few questions in chat. So one person said, how do you make sure that you actually complete a course you enroll in?
Are you talking about self-motivation or using the actual course?
I believe like that means like doing the actual course, but they will probably specify.
I feel like it's more self-motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
a bunch
like
of
oh,
sorry,
sorry.
a bunch of websites will give you modules just listed out, and if you can manage to get through all of them, then you're probably good to move on. They'll websites that have courses will typically give you modules that increase in difficulty. So it's getting through that, making sure you have the grasp on the previous module before you move on.
Motivation. So motivation for me, because that's hard for me as well. I schedule a specific time for me to do it. Then I'm holding myself to an accountable part. So there's a little bit, this is the date that I want to get it done by. And then I tell somebody that I'm doing it. So then they say, okay, by this date, I want you to be able to show me how to do this. So then I have someone else keeping me accountable. And then getting through each module, just give yourself a treat, like get a bunch of candy or whatever makes you happy and say, okay, when I've done this one, I'm going to have a candy. And then just keep in mind why you're doing it. I want to do it so that I can do this. But it's all about understanding your brain, how you get yourself motivated, and creating a plan with accountability in it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And not overworking yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to overwork yourself. Schedule breaks.
Yeah. One thing I did during COVID to learn more things was I made an open work session with my other people from my graduating class, so that everyone had a link to the call. So everyone would come to the call at the same time to do work on things. And most of the time, no one else showed up. But there was that one period that I had to be at my computer doing something. And what else am I going to do other than learn more things? So that's another way to add some extrinsic motivation to things.
There's a Discord server. You can probably just Google it and find it, but it's just a study server where a bunch of people will just sit in calls silently, just doing work.
That's cool.
It's very helpful.
Very cool. I think for me, I tend to work in sprints. For me, it's very hard to let people down. So if I want to learn something, I tend to take on responsibilities for it. I have to deliver something. And then at that point, it becomes that, okay, I need to deliver this. And like the week before, the night before, and it's just like grinding and then doing our work. And then suddenly you like feel free. Like just intense immersive learning.
That's a really good idea too.
Mm-hmm.
I think I hurt myself with the long term. It's so hard for me to build a habit. I don't know if anyone else is like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
it's been really hard to find really good extrinsic goals to get myself places, or else it's like, you know what, I set this goal, it doesn't matter to me anymore because I'm tired and I want to take a nap, so it can go to another day.
Then the next question was, let me look. All right. So my partner and I are currently writing, this is more for like me, I guess, writing a research paper and regarding evidence to support the efficacy of the solution. How in depth do we need to go? Honestly, go as in depth as you find in terms of evidence, I guess. And the mentors can also definitely talk a little bit more about how to find like good evidence that really supports whatever you're trying to prove. But you don't need to supply like a full-on plan or idea. It's just whatever in terms like you have access to, and then you can also supply some of your idea. But in terms of like evidence, you don't need to go too in depth. Just whatever you think will help prove your point. Yeah. So then how do you keep yourself motivated when you're working on a project? This is probably for the mentors.
So it's a project that was given to you, so it's not like self-learning, it's assigned to you. Just want to make sure that we're going to answer correctly.
I think
Yeah, I have different methods for both of those.
Definitely different methods.
I think honestly they were talking about both even, so I could say.
Sure, I'll go. Okay, personal project then.
Personal.
I tend to only have like a couple weeks off between school and work because I'm in a co-op program. So in those weeks, it's kind of like I set a deadline of like the night before work starts because I know that after that, I'm not going to have any time to work on this. So I honestly, I lay out a full week where I'm like, I'm going to work on this every single day for the entire day, like it's a full-time job. And all of my extra other time, I can take to relax. I can do whatever I want. But in this week, I'm employed at this personal project that I'm doing.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, setting a schedule.
Yeah, I agree. I think planning is vital. So especially when it's a personal project, to keep motivation, I break things down into smaller tasks. So then it's like, okay, even doing the dishes, let's say doing the dishes is a project. I look at the pile of dishes and I don't want to do it. So I'm like, okay, first small step is just sort the dishes out. And it's like, okay, well, it's already sorted out. So that's a smaller task. Now I just have to put them in the sink. Oh, and now I just have to add soap. So it's like creating small enough tasks to help build your own momentum and keep your momentum going. I think that's really important for me for motivation. It's just, if it's a big project, it's so much harder to get the motivation to do it. If it's a small task, it's way easier to jump on it and make progress.
The best advice I've ever gotten is if it can be done in 5 minutes, do it right now.
Yeah.
Because in an entire day, 5 minutes is nothing.
Yeah.
So spending 5 minutes doing something it's whatever. So I'll just do it right now.
And if the task is longer than 5 minutes, just remember why you're doing it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think for me, I tend to be really bad at planning, like, and keeping schedule. I act very upon whim, like, what do I feel doing right now? And then I just jump on that. And then the moment later, like, I don't think of like, oh, I should do this, I should do that. No, like what does feel good to you to do?
Cool, thanks. Does anyone have any other questions or want to share their project even? It's all right. Like, we're not gonna like laugh or anything. We've all probably been there with like an annoying coding project or like a annoying project in general. So anyone can just feel free to share your screen, just start unmute talking, or just type your question in the chat. You can go from there. Okay, well, I guess everyone's kind of quiet today. That's okay. It's like late for many people, like early for others, so kind of awkward timing, but I guess many people are also just working on their projects. So I guess another question was, I know a lot of people have also been asking for some resources. So other than Code Academy, like if you guys could send like a list of like resources, that'd be great, and we can like share them with
Resources for coding or resources in general?
Resources for coding would be great, but coding in general is also cool too. Yeah, like resources in general would be great too. So like learning, even not like learning concepts or like AI, especially because we had like a large audience wanting to learn about that too.
I'm gonna send a bunch of resources that are just excellent resources. And I use these a lot. Okay.
There was one website that I can't remember now.
So while the mentors are getting resources, does anybody have any like last questions for this meeting will come to an end soon? Before we have the next speaker session. So yeah, I would fire you guys. I'd really take advantage of this time. And yeah. I mean, I guess I could work on my like, coding homework or something. Here. But I don't want to bore everyone to death. So what is this?
Oh, you're all being helpful in putting titles to what the resources are. Maybe I could do that.
Hearing like the typing is like very satisfying though. So.
I'm about to take pictures of these. These are useful to me. I'm on my work laptop, so I can't save anything. But
I'm a beginner. So one person said, "I'm a beginner to coding, and I just recently started to code. So what are some cool project ideas? What language are you also coding in? That's also helpful." Mentors, do you have any cool project ideas for like in Python?
Building a robot's my favorite. I'll go get my robot. I have a box.
A fun one I did in high school was poker. So it's Texas Hold'em. So that's really cool. So it's the user versus, you can just use randomization to make the bot, I guess, that you're playing against. But it's not super hard to do. And yeah, you can get those cute little robot sets off of Amazon for
I was like 30 or 40, I can't remember.
Cool project is, I didn't build this pointer.com. You just go and then someone points at your mouse, but I found it inspiring that I did this. It's just like you move your mouse. I found it inspiring, and then a project that I did was like, what if you fetch random images from internet and then you click on a part of it. Let's say you click on a human and it will just show you more humans, or let's say you click on a cat, it will show you more images of cats in different scenarios, and on the real time you would click on the next image, let's say on a building next to a cat, and then it will show you more pictures of building. So I'm like GitHub, but it came from this pointer, just like clicking. Like it's very addictive. Sometimes like when I found everybody, I was like spend like 15 minutes, 20 minutes just like seeing the different random images in the website. I was like, what am I doing with my life?
I'm doing that right now. Actively spending time. This is so cool.
Yeah. That's actually quite amazing. I'm not.
They all look like personal photos. Like,
yeah. It's like really accurate, like creepily accurate. Does anyone have any other questions before this session ends, or just want to share? Yeah, procrastination. We all suffer from that, I'd say. But does anyone else have any last final questions, thoughts, or want to just share what they're doing on their project before the session comes to an end? So we have a good 5 minutes left. Just say what you're working on. Speak about that.
what do you guys think is the best language to start with?
Hmm.
I'd say
HTML.
Python.
Really?
I started with HTML and CSS.
Ooh, fancy.
Also started with Java. I don't know. Like I think it's so hard to go from, let's say, Python to C++, but then it's so much easier to go from Java to C++ to Python.
Yeah.
What is your guys' favorite programming language?
SQL.
Whatever they use
love
on Excel
SQL.
spreadsheets.
VBA. Ugh. I self-taught VBA. Like I taught myself on the job, just by looking at examples, and then essentially just Googling specific things what I need.
You're working on a gender equality app and have a lot of problems because I'm like, okay, everyone starts a coding somewhere, so you don't put yourself down because honestly, I bet like the best developers also like struggle. Do you want to like just share your screen if you have like a lot of problems and we can maybe look at it together? Or what?
Let's do a breakout group if you don't want to share with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, breakout room would also work too. I'll have the power to do that. Harness team's energy.
I'm interested in hearing about this gender equality app solution.
Mm-hmm.
This Copilot website is so cool.
Yeah, that's my favorite coding style. You just type it, and then it will give you the code.
You have the code on GitHub. You can share your screen or go to a breakout room and share screen if you want. Or you share the GitHub. Because that's exactly what this time is for, to like go through programming problems. If not, I can like give my programming homework to somebody. They finish it.
What languages do you guys know?
If your surrounding has noise, you can just share your screen and then stay muted and then just talk in the chat. You don't have to actually unmute. You don't need to unmute to share. I know C#, Java, JavaScript, HTML, kind of Python, but I failed at Python. So, yeah.
If you know Java, you basically know Python. Python is like well similar. No semicolons.
Yeah. Plus, it just like fails silently. Ooh, all right. They sent the code.
Alrighty. Let's see. Fancy.
What kind of website is GitHub? But how to make use of it the best way? Does someone want to answer that? Like, how do you get started with GitHub as well?
I think it's actually a very good question because, like as I told you, I also learned programming recently, not in high school. So in the beginning, I was like very confused. What are all these like terminologies? It's GitHub is mostly, you can think of it as the website that people can share open source projects mostly, or they can use it for version controlling as well. So that's mostly Git. But let me just explain that. Like open source are like code that they don't charge you for it. You don't have to pay for it. And then people go to a website like GitHub, and then hundreds of people just contribute to one project to make it happen. Because it's like programming alone is really difficult because you will always for sure have bugs and make mistakes, and you want to have a community around you to help you out. And GitHub is like a community of programmers who like go share their code and then look at other people's code for free. Some companies use it to just store their code online, but then they don't share it. That's just mostly like internal usage. And then the other function of it is version controlling, and version controlling is, let's say multiple people work on the same project, but then you do some changes to one of the files, and another person also doing changes simultaneously to it. So it helps with synchronizing between these people to not cause conflicts between what I change and what they change. And then it just helps with tracking, just keeping it clean and make sure that they don't mess up with each other's work. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of syntax to use it, I guess, properly, which you could probably Google. But yeah.
I think a question for you, Sydney, is what is Kubernetes? Like, tell me a bit more about that.
Hey, you want to talk about something that's open source? Kubernetes is something that's open source. And I will say, I'm still in the process of learning everything about Kubernetes. I've only been on the team for less than a month now. So basically, this is my test. Okay. So Kubernetes is a tool used by developers, and there's different versions of Kubernetes, but basically what it does is it allows companies to run many, many applications and faster by putting them in containers. And in each container, containers within pods. I'm not the expert on Kubernetes. I will let you know this. I'm an expert on running panels about Kubernetes. So yeah, it's a tool used by developers, and there's different versions of containerizing systems. So like Docker, Amazon AKS, Amazon Kubernetes system. Rancher has a different way of doing containers as well. And then there's a bunch of different ways for open source, and people can use them together, different ways to help run for large systems, run them faster and more efficiently.
Oh, that's
I think,
cool.
yeah, just on that, like I think it's so true that there are so many technologies available out there that we can like learn all of it, and they're always changing. Like stop coding for 1 year and then your skills will get outdated because there are going to be much more efficient and cooler things out there. So it's not about what you know, it's about like knowing how to learn these kind of stuff.
Yes, I will second that. One of the biggest things for me being in the career field is being plastic in the way that you learn. So within neuroscience, there's this characteristic called neuroplasticity, and that's how your brain continues to grow and learn new things like that. So when you're kids, your brain is a lot more plastic than when you're an adult, where all of your cells sort of solidify together. And so when you're going into a career field, especially in technology, being as plastic as possible, being as flexible as possible is a huge thing. And that comes with being able to continuously learn. So one of my biggest pieces of advice for people in high school is focus on how you learn and the best ways that you learn. So think about which kinds of assignments your teachers are giving you that is helping you learn things better. Because when you get to post-secondary, you're going to have to learn how to create similar assignments for yourself, because your profs will not be giving you assignments. They'll be saying this chapter, learn it. Or they'll be giving you projects, and you still have to learn how to get to that project yourself. So work hard on understanding how you learn, how you get things done, because you're going to need it, especially in the tech industry.
Yeah, I found out when I started getting into data positions, I learned that learning how to Google is a skill that you need to learn. Learning how to find exactly what you need by Googling it. You know, you can learn a lot of things yourself just by using Google. I actually saw a job posting that listed a bunch of languages and was like, and then there was text at the bottom that said, or you know how to Google and use Stack Exchange, then apply. And I'm like, cool, applying.
What? That's awesome. I find a lot of the places I'm going is companies are so specialized in the solution they're providing for users. So for example, each of every one of you are creating a project that's very specific. So say that you're a company specializing in your topic, and you have a bunch of applicants that are just general out of school applicants. One of the things that's going to matter to you most is how well that person is able to learn what you're talking about as fast as possible. And so maybe that's just understanding how to Google. That's a really good thing.
So in the chat, the issues with the GitHub, there's a GitHub code like project on the gender equality app that the UI design was with Adobe XD, and the app was being built with Android Studio, but then the thing is they can't get the same design for the home page. So I'm personally not, yeah, you can share it right now.
Does Adobe XD provide dev code? I'm not on the developer side, I'm on the design and research side. I know Framer and Figma provide dev code, yeah, so that you can just copy and paste into whatever you're building.
I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with Adobe XD. But you can screen share now, so we can kind of see what it is. Feel free to screen share both the Adobe thing, and then so we can see if they have. Okay, great. Ooh. Yeah, we can see it.
Ooh, free.
That's cool. Wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And you create a group? Oh, wow.
Maybe I'm not seeing the full screen. One sec. Do you have a header bar on each of your pages from a UI perspective? You want to make sure that your users don't feel lost or trapped. I think I can only see the middle of the screen, so that's why I'm just double checking.
I think you can let's see if you can fit to frame or something. I don't know. Oh wait, never mind. Oh, you can't with that. But I thought I was competent in Teams, but
you can do it in Google, but I don't think you can do it in Teams. Full screen. That's
so. Got a few more minutes to the next session. So you could keep working on this here and minutes there, but what do you think you need help with? You wanted to you can't get the same design for the home page.
My friend, I'll send you a link on Kubernetes. This is the best and the worst one that I've seen. When I started on the Google team, they're like, Sydney, if you're having troubles, watch this one. I'm like, okay. And then I got more confused. So
adorable.
That's great.
Ooh.
That's how I found out. One of the ways that I learn is I connect with somebody and they explain it to me really complicated, and then I explain it back to them. So
it's a good way to learn.
That's how I made it through all my math courses.
The other day, my daughter.
And it was great because we both have seen this video, so and I could be like, wait, why does Pippi the giraffe want to clone herself? I don't get it. What's going on? And then they were able to get into more detail about why cloning is necessary and needed. So
That's amazing. All right, so this session is technically going to be over as Irfan is actually going to go speak in like a minute. So, yes, that's exciting. So, the other mentors, I guess you guys can come also join us if you're free. But if any other, because that'd be really cool. But if anyone does have any questions, like for the mentors, they really want to answer, feel free to just stick back for like a second. But I'm back to the other meeting to start it. But feel free to stick back and ask the mentors some questions and then get started on that and then come join us when you're ready. I'll send the link to that session so you guys are not lost.
That's the other one. Yeah.
And do come join us because it'll be fun.
sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, cool. See you there. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
I'm just sticking if there's any questions.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys also have our emails, so.
Yeah, it should be on the hackathon guide.
Awesome.
Bye.
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 This is fun. Well, no one wants to talk to us.
Damn.
Bro. Makes sense.
There's a question. Oh, there's a question in the chat. However, I am not experienced in.
I don't really know how to build my home post board. What do you mean by that? Like places people can post and you're using XDA? Not XDA, but like XD. Correct. Sorry. I'm Canadian. It shows sometimes. Yeah, the place where people can post. What I would do is I don't think I actually can't speak to how fully realized your prototype needs to be, but I'm assuming for a hackathon, most of the time they're just looking for a medium fidelity prototype. So I would put it there as an example of places that people can post if they want to. So understanding what you want the posting place to look like and understanding the interface for how people can post, you can just show it as an example. I don't know which kind of components you have access to, but if there's none that are specifically chat related, if you use an input field that you can just put at the bottom to demonstrate an input field.
That is a good idea. You're muted.
Frankenstein stuff for proof of concepts. There we go. That happened to me the other day. I somehow got automatically muted.
I'm here.
Post video and audio. Okay, so you just need icons? Or you need to know how to. No, because it's a problem in the UI, not a problem in the coding. I would just look for icons. And then
Put an input field and then beside it icons.
Yeah, look for examples of that. So usually it's a paperclip for attach, and then from that comes up your options for media, and then you go through any kind of media and drop it in, or there's places where it's just drag and drop, so it doesn't matter your file type. So it depends on, but I wanted those 3 to be posted in different sizes. Why? What's your user? Because that's the big thing, is what's your user and how are they using your app? to warrant needing 3 different sizes. Okay, it's a problem with the code. I'm still, I think I'm just still curious of why you need 3 different sizes. Like what's the user problem that they're having with one size, or what task is the user trying to achieve that warrants 3 different sizes? Supposed to post their activities. Yeah. Honestly, from like as a user experience designer, I'd say one size is good. Like, you don't want to confuse the user too much. To rate the post importance. So it's more important if it's a video, like for example. Because what you could do is you could just add flags to signify importance rather than size. Kind of like in your email box, how you put stars. Have a larger width and height. I think that for me, I think that would come down to the size or the aspect ratio of the media that they're uploading. And then I would just put flags on it to signify importance rather than focusing on size, because it all depends on, like, I understand that you have an idea for it. I'm just not too sure from a user experience perspective how the users would be interacting with it differently. What you could do is you could do hide media. So once again, if it's important, it shows the full post. If it's not important, it can just be minimized. And that would be based on input. So if they hit flag, it's important, or star, it's important, then you can input what size the media is being shown on the feed. And then people can have the opportunity to expand or minimize based on what they want. And that's a metric you can use as well later to figure out what kind of media that user wants, and put some machine learning in that. It's like, oh, this person doesn't even like these kinds of posts. Let's just automatically minimize them.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. Of course, share as many as you want. Sometimes it's easier to go simple. Like people were saying earlier, simple is always the best way. If you're finding it's getting too complicated as you're designing it, it's probably too complicated for the user as well.
Yeah, you got to think about your target audience and how much time they're going to be willing to put into learning how to use your thing, use your app, I guess.
Log in, register, perfect. Okay, yeah, bringing up a better generation. I would even put the login and register buttons up higher for accidental interactions. Because if I'm holding my phone, right, and the register button's right there, I might accidentally press it when I want to hit the login button. So if it's up a little higher, I'm more likely to hit it correctly. Yep. You want to make things as unfrustrating as possible for users, because the more angry they are, the less likely they're going to want to continue using your product. If you go to the screen that you were just at, I would tone down the background image, especially for visual impairments, because it's harder to read if you squint and you try to figure out where you're trying to click. So I would just tone down the background image. Okay, yeah, you can hit sign up.
This is so fancy. Over the points, on on the icons, the text that says the number of points, put a I would suggest, I guess, to put a it's called a stroke, but like an outline on the text so that it stands out from the image behind it.
Your home icon's also not centered above the word home. Also, as I saw you click there, I saw the house move. So I would make sure that that main bar that you're using, that it's applied evenly everywhere. And I would put the home and ranking closer to the play button, because once again, with that accidental interactions, you don't want things too close to the bottom corner of the screen, because that's how people use their phone. Like if I'm holding my phone like that, I'm accidentally hitting it with the side of my hand.
Fat thumbs be like that. It is facts.
Mm-hmm. Everything else, it looks really, really good. And these are very small things, so.
It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. Oh my God, that is so cute. That is so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I love this idea. Open, team zoomed in. Cool. Thank you, teams. Very cool.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Definitely looks good. Just like I said, it's just small, tiny little tweaks. But other than that, it looks great. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so cool. I definitely was not making things like this in high school.
No, me neither.
Any more questions, folks? We also take personal questions about our experience and stuff like that.
Yep.
I've fallen in the trap of, since I'm on my work computer, I've fallen in the trap of checking Slack, and I should not be doing that.
Yeah. I keep my work computer in my other bag, and it sucks because I don't have my work email on my phone because it's a Google email. So if I lose my phone, I have to lose everything on my phone. It needs to be wiped.
Goodness.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
keep it over there. And that means I don't know when my meetings are in the morning. So I'll get home and I'll be like, oh wait, do I have a meeting like right away at 9? Can I get coffee? And then I'm like, don't do work. What time is it? Okay, close.
I started rolling out of bed, logging on, checking my schedule, and then doing my morning routine.
Yeah. It's so much easier when you work from home.
True. Okay, here's a question. I also do not have an answer for that. I would say there is a course for everything.
Mm-hmm. LinkedIn Learning also has a lot of good stuff there as well. Ooh, you know what I love for learning? And this is going to be great because you're in school. And basically, if you have a textbook, someone's probably made a Quizlet on it for each chapter.
Oh, yes.
And then you just learn all the vocabulary and stuff. I remember before one of my midterms, my friend and I just took the entire bus ride to a conference, just doing the quizzes back and forth, trying to see who would get a higher score until we felt more confident in our material. And so if there's a textbook on material design, you can go in there and then just start learning the material through Quizlet.
And it's free.
It's free.
And pro tip, if you only have like a certain amount of, like, I know some websites have a certain amount of articles you can view, just go on incognito.
Yeah, that's smart.
Can't give you cookies to track you, or clear your cookies in your Chrome settings or your browser settings.
That's
free
really
access to everything.
Do you think everyone else fell asleep? Because
Yeah.
I would.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it depends on how late it is. Apparently it's really early or it's really
Yeah.
so
Yeah, time zones.
time zones.
Okay. I'm gonna say if there's anything else. I'm gonna go eat my lunch. I guess it's lunch.
Yeah, it's lunch. It's 2 hours since I woke up, so I'm gonna do breakfast.
It's like an hour and a half since I woke up. So okay. Alrighty. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone. Message us if you have any more questions.
Yeah. Bye.